Welcome to part 2 of training methods. As you know, we have already covered on the job training methods in part 1. Now we'll head towards our second section, that is off the job training methods, which includes lectures, case study, role plays, business games, etc. and simulation. Okay, let's move to off the job training method. In off-the-job training, the emphasis is made on imparting knowledge and skills for doing a particular job. Since the trainee is away from the job, he or she is free from all the tensions while learning. The employee undergoes the training for a specified period in case of off-the-job training. In the picture below, we can see a lecture or seminar method being used for training the trainees. Okay, I hope the brief about the off-the-job training is clear to you guys. Various off-the-job training methods are, the first one that we are going to discuss here is the lecture method. You are very familiar with this method. The lecture method is a very popular form of training in educational institutions, even though the effectiveness of the lecture method is often questioned. But with the lecture method, large number of people can be trained or taught at the same time. The important thing about the lecture method. However, the important point to be understood is that more diversified the audience is, the more journal the content usually becomes. In this case, it is being seen as the most cost efficient and effective method. We are talking about the lecture method. Now, the formal lecturing is useful when the basic theoretical knowledge has to be built up before entering into any job. So I guess you are clear about the lecture method, that we could address large number of people with this, and where it could be used is that where the theoretical knowledge is to be imparted, and it is a very cost efficient and effective method. Let's move to case study. If we refer to the origin of the case study, we see it has been developed by Harvard Business Schools of the USA. Okay, that's one of the most renowned schools for management. It's a method in which an individual or group of employees are given a written description of an organizational problem to diagnose and solve. Okay, please understand that a trainee is presented with a written organizational problem. The trainees then analyze the case, diagnose the reasons for the problem, and present a possible solution or finding in a discussion with other trainees. Please note, in a discussion with other trainees. It is a valuable tool to develop analytical abilities about the trainee, thus improving the decision making of the individuals. Okay, so got the idea that what's there in the case study. Let's take an example for the case study. You know about FBI? I'm sure you know about FBI. It's Federal Bureau of Investigation. It is an investigating agency of USA, United States of America. FBI uses case study method to train their employees to identify what can go wrong in an actual criminal inquiry. Okay, the main aim of FBI behind this is to develop specific skills like analyzing crime scenes, interviewing the witnesses, etc. by means of the case study method. Hope you are clear with the lecture method and case study method. Let's move ahead. Now we have role playing and business games. Role playing is a method in which trainees act out in a realistic management situation. The role of this method is to create a realistic situation, and the trainees are observed in their actions in classroom condition. Okay, now please understand what we do in role play sessions is participants are assigned different roles by turn or simultaneously, while others act as observers and critics. The participants suggests how the problem could be handled more effectively in the future. The act out is followed by discussion and analysis to determine what happened, why it happened, and how the problem could be better handled in future. Okay, now let's see what we have discussed in role playing is that realistic situation, and in those realistic situations when they act out, they are being observed, and they are observed on their actions, but the conditions in which they are observed and this acting out is carried are the classroom conditions, not the on the job trainings. Got the idea? Okay, what we are doing is different roles are assigned that how you will act in a particular problematic situation. They are observed on their actions, and the output being taken up for further analysis or for further discussions, and the observation or act out has been carried into the classroom condition, not in not on the job conditions. Okay, let's move to another one. That's the business games and management games. Business games or management game is again a training method that involves a group exercise in decision making regarding problems faced by an organization. But obviously role playing was also the same, and the game playing to this level is also the same, that we are working on to the problem faced by an organization. And the business game method or the management game method trains the employees in certain skills. Okay, but they train the employees in certain skills within the rules of the game, the rules that has been set for the game. They'll be trained under those areas only. Business games are used to stimulate interpersonal relation problems or focusing financial budgeting issues, etc. Okay, it is similar to, as you have already observed, it is similar to role playing, but with the difference that the role playing focuses on feeling and relationship between people, whereas business games are more concerned with administrative problems. Okay, hope you are clear with the two concepts now. Now we have vestibule training. It is a method of training for the manual worker. Okay, what we mean by manual worker is those workers who need to learn hand skills in the sense like automobile engineers, like the typist, like word processor operators, etc. They need to be trained into the hand skills to have the best or better output. Please understand, if the company starts to train the workers in their factory or respective workplace, then there are high chances of mishappening with the machinery of the factory or mishappening with the workers, even if they are not put in training before putting on to the job. Okay, hence in this method similar tools and machineries are arranged outside the organization for avoiding any kind of mishappening. Like while carrying on engineering studies, the engineering students are taught in workshop. That's a kind of vestibule training. Okay, the last in the category of the job training method is behavioral modeling. This is one of the finest method that's being used for off the job training method. See, it's a technique in which trainees are shown a management technique or doing some work via videos or films, and then they are asked to play a role in simulated environment, not in real environment, in a simulated environment. Later on the basis of their role play, they are given the feedback whether they are able to work to the expected level, or we could say that whether they learn the technique by visualizing or they are not able to learn the technique. They are given the feedback. So in case of feedback, what we do is we usually reinforce. It could be positive reinforcement or negative. If there is no learning or something wrong has been learned, we'll go for the negative reinforcement, else mostly the positive reinforcement are being carried on. To understand this, let us go through its process in detail. The first one is modeling. In this, the participants or trainees are shown a video or film showing some model or trainer behaving effectively in a problematic situation. Okay, in modeling is about the models. What they do is they act for you, they behave for you, so that it could be reflected that how you should act or react in a particular situation, how you should handle a machine, how you should handle a situation. So over there in modeling, they are being taught or they are being shown such behavioral tendency or such mode of working by means of video or films. In role playing, the participants are given roles to play in simulated situation. In this phase, the participants practice the behavior demonstrated by the models in the video shown. Okay. Now, in role playing, what they are doing is they are practicing the behavior demonstrated by the model or the trainers in the videos. Okay. In social reinforcement, the trainer provides reinforcement in the form of feedback and the praises, etc. If the behavior is positive, they'll praise it, the positive reinforcement will be carried. If something or the negative behavior has been observed or the negative role playing has been observed, the negative reinforcement will be carried so that it could be reduced or could be trained to the positive behavior. Finally, in transfer of training, participants are encouraged to apply their new skills learned during training in their respective jobs. Okay, we encourage them to apply their jobs into apply the skills learned onto their jobs. With this, we wind up with our off-the-job training methods. Let's move to our last section of the lecture, that's simulation. Okay. Now please understand, by simulated training, we are saying that it is a method in which trainees learn on the real or simulated equipment which they'll use on the job, but they are trained off the job. Now please see that the equipments could be real or simulated, but the training will be carried off the job. Kindly take a note that the situations are similar to that of actual job, but this training is conducted away from the job, not on the job. Okay. Sometimes it is also called as vestibule training. However, there is a difference between the two. The simulated environment should possess two important characteristics: physical fidelity and psychological fidelity. In physical fidelity, it reflects the physical fidelity basically reflects the extent to which to the training conditions are similar to the work environment. Please understand what we are trying to convey in physical fidelity is that the work environment or the physical environment of the simulation that has been created is similar or same as of the real work environment. Over there we are concerned with the physical fidelity, that the two situations or the two physical environments are same. In psychological fidelity, it reflects the similarity in mental sense in the given environment as compared to the actual one. Okay. Now let's understand the psychological fidelity. We are concerned with, we are saying is, now the mental state of the individual also needs to be same, or we need to create the environment so that the individual shall have the same mental state as he may have into the real work environment. So over there we are concerned with the psychological fidelity. These are the two important characteristics of the simulated training. At first we need to create these two things, then only the simulated training could be carried, else not. Okay. Now once the two characteristics of simulation are achieved. Okay, now please see, by achievement we mean to say that we succeeded in creating the similar conditions as of a job. Okay, let me repeat again. By achievement we mean to say that we succeeded in creating the similar condition as of a job. Okay, once we reach very near to actual work conditions, or we say we have simulated the environment, it could be advocated as the skill will be learnt effectively by the participant. Thereafter there is no question, as the people will not learn the desired skill for which the simulation has been created. Okay, the simulation or the simulated trainings are conducted mostly for the high risk jobs, like fighter pilots are trained in a simulated environment, and these days simulated video games are in trend even. Okay, the two pictures below shows the simulations, or a kind of simulated environment that's being created and people could enjoy. Okay, with this we wind up our part 2 of training methods. There are many more training methods, but as of now we'll wind up with this only. Hope you enjoyed the lecture and had learned the different methods. Please feel free to write a feedback. Thanks for patience learning. Thank you very much.